I'll tell you when. I'll tell you when. Yep. Yeah. Welcome to my world. I have a couple of screens set up and a book open. All right. So this is Maclin Grubar's one shot in preparation for Strixhaven. The way that we're going to do this is we're going to improv a little of this to build a description, kind of a Maclin's character in life. And the assumption is right now he has no reason to believe he's going to Strixhaven University. There's a solid chance, I would say there's a definite chance, that because of a relationship I'm going to introduce you to here in a minute, you're going to know about Strixhaven. But I would venture to say it's probably never been on Maclin's radar that he would go there. Does that make sense? Okay. And so what I want to do is start off by talking about where Maclin and his family live. And so tell me a little physical description of Maclin. I have a picture here. This can be as close or far away as you want it to be. But what does Maclin look like? General demeanor, interests, stuff like that. Let's start there. Okay. 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 Got it. Okay. And you say he lives on an estate. Would it be reasonable to think, because he's an artificer, that he would have some kind of workshop that's kind of his space? Got it. Ooh. Okay. Okay. The one thing I'd like to interject in here, and I'd like for you to help me figure out how to do this, but I'd like to introduce one character, and whether he would consider her a friend or not, she is at least someone that he would be familiar with. Maybe she is someone that just unfortunately he's always had to play date with, or his parents. We could assume their parents are best friends. She is also an artificer. But I want to introduce a character, a person into his life that would be, I don't know if buddy is too strong a word. It could be just somebody else that also has artificer interests, and you happen to have the workshop space that she would need to work on her own projects. Okay. So here's where we will start our story. It is late afternoon on the Grubar estate. And this evening, your parents have told you that you are expected to attend a dinner. They are hosting some very, very important guests. And as soon as they mention their name, you know who this is. We will visit them in just a second. As you are waiting for dinner time to approach, however, Maclin is in his workshop with another individual. She is about 20 years old. She is a half-elf, a little bit shorter than you, kind of caramel-colored skin, pink, frizzy, curly hair, always wears kind of welding glasses on the top of her head. Actually, I'm sorry, I said half-elf. She's a gnome. So she's actually a little bit shorter. She's about maybe 3.5, 4 feet tall, compared to, I think, your height, which is closer to 5.5, 6 feet tall. Am I right on that? Yep. She always wears this massive tool belt. It's kind of, hangs off of one hip. This is Eliwick Boondiggles. And Eliwick has always been as interested in artificery as you have. Her dads are good friends with your parents. You don't see her every day, but you see her frequently, maybe every couple times a month, and she is always coming ready to work if you are. Eliwick has a mechanical monkey, a homunculus, that always runs around with her that she calls Fitz. And it is well programmed / well trained, however you want to think of this. She is accomplished. She has been at Strixhaven University for the last year. And so you haven't seen much of her. She is home on break and has come to hang out and show you a little bit of what she's learned. So if you are both in this workspace, what would Maclin be working on late afternoon, waiting for a dinner party he probably doesn't want to go to? Okay. Mm-hmm. Let's go there. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Eliwick is, as Maclin asked that question, is picking up this enormous piece of raw metal and she's a little bit shorter than how the room is all set up, but she's making up the difference. And she just looks at Maclin. She's like, "Baby boy, it is like nothing you've ever seen before. I tell you, I can't, the year that I've been here, I cannot tell you all that I have learned. You think the stuff that we're doing here is cool. This place is next level. I tell you that the magic that we're learning, I think you'd love it, like, quite honestly. She kind of like looks over her shoulder and somehow telepathically is communicating with Fitz. She jumps over your head and runs over to your table and grabs a couple screwdrivers, kind of brings them back and kind of holds them out to her. And you see her start to kind of peel these two pieces apart. She's like, you and I just keep focusing on all of this practical stuff, but Strixhaven is about pushing the limits and thinking about what's beyond. I mean, come on, what's the last thing that you've been working on? Hey, hand it over. Come here. Give me a look. Let me see. And you see her pull down these shades. It magnifies her eyes to a comedic level as she starts to kind of look at it. Having seen her work before, she's kind of a grease monkey. The stuff she's made has just been big and more like vehicle size stuff. So like the intricacy stuff has always been just, you've wanted to go small, she's wanted to go big. But she does expect it, and you can already tell, like, she is looking for things and analyzing and evaluating things that you can already tell she's looking at it through a very, very different lens. She's like, you used a gauge 10 gear right here, but really if you gauged it down to 8, you'd have time to, like, fit this in and make it a lot more efficient. She's like, may I? Well, I won't mess it up. You see her utter this incantation. The gear like shrinks magically, creating the space, and she's able to conjure something. She slides it in, screws something in. She fills it around. She's like, feel that. As you pull it into your hand, I mean, it's subtle, but given the fact that you worked on this for a year, the balance is better. Like it feels like it was always kind of leaning back in your hand. It's kind of weighted a little bit different, and already you could tell like it's smoother, it's steadier. She fixed it. She made it better. I mean, I'm not sure how they do it. All I know is that this lady came and saw me and said that I had been recruited. And so it sounded like a great opportunity. I mean, I know some magic. I think you have so much more magic than you even know. And I don't know. I think you'd be great at Strixhaven University. I just can't believe you haven't been recruited yet, because they could definitely teach you a lot. I think, if I'm honest, I think you're probably better at this than me. And so, raw talent's going to go somewhere. I don't know. Maybe they'll come find you. I wouldn't worry about it. Like, your parents have got money and influence. Like, surely they could make something happen. Is that something you actually want to do? I thought you never liked to leave this place. Oh, sweetheart. Oh, sweetheart, you got to go out to the world. Surely you're not going to sit here all your life. I think it'd be so good for you. You got to get out. You got to stretch your legs. Your parents don't want you staying here for all this time. Surely not. You're better than that. I think you'd be settling. I think you would be wasting your talents. I think you got to learn how to do this. I think you'd be happy if you did. Just saying. I don't mind putting in a good word for you. I met a lot of people there, but I mean, once you're in, man, it's next level. These people have powers like you would not imagine. You know, my college, Quandrix College, we are all about pushing the limits. Like, there's a building on campus that is the dean, one of the deans of the college. Like, the whole building is alive, and it's in charge, one of the two that's in charge of the college. Like, this place would just blow your mind. I'm telling you. You know, one thing that our professors tell us every class, nothing happens in this world by accident. Nothing's handed to you. You want something, you go get it. I don't know. You just talk to your parents, see if they can get you an audience. I mean, the Strixhaven doesn't need money. What they want is potential. At least that's how I understand it. I don't know. You should really try. Oh, what are you scared of? Jeez, Maclin, you make them sound like your prison wardens, not your parents. I'm just saying, maybe it's time to grow a pair, my friend. Why you know how to make one. Well, I mean, it's not my decision to make, and I'm certainly not going to do it for you. So, I guess you're stuck here unless you decide to do something. She goes back, like, she kind of has nothing left to say. She kind of goes back to working on some things. She just has a few things left to finish up. About this time, one of the butlers comes out and addresses you and informs you that it's time for you to prepare for dinner. He would be happy to escort Eliwick out and arrange transportation for her home. And on her way out, she looks at you and winks, and she's like, "I'll see you when I see you. And I hope it's in a place that is bigger and better than even this." So she gets into a carriage in front of the house and leaves, and Maclin goes and gets ready. On his way to kind of get, after you get changed and you come down, Philippe, your mom, is that right? Who's the mom? Philippe or Ryan? Philippe. So Philippe stops you. What does Philippe look like? she stops you and she kind of grabs you by both shoulders and she's like, Maclin, dear, what? When are you going to cut this hair? You are 20 years old now, son. You have got to present yourself to the world in more refined ways. The Suvija's family is coming, and honey, they are royalty. Please wear the cufflinks that your father gave you. Fine, you can continue to be a teenager as long as you want, but one of these days you are going to have to step up and join the rest of us in adulthood, because there are things to do and there are places to go and there are people to meet, and we Grubars have a certain image to uphold. But do as you will for now. I'm assuming this will be fine. She does kind of lovingly pat you on the cheek and then goes to kind of check and make sure that things are ready. The Suvij family, you have met them maybe twice before. They are Luxodon, meaning elephant people. And the families are the father is the Maharaja of their small nation, Maharaja Ranjit, and his wife Pratima Suvij. Suvij is Soovij. Ranjit and Pratima have a son named, he goes by the name Rampart. He's got some long name, and if he were to introduce you with his official title, which he did when he was in middle school, he is considered the Maharaj Kumar Bedum Rampart Suvij. He is a annoying, immature mama's boy that has always completely just gotten under your skin. He is the Augustus Gloop of the people that you know. As you all get ready for their arrival, you hear the bell ring and the butler go and answer. You see two Luxodon attendants, much thinner, guard gear, but like guard prepared for a stately address, come in, and you actually see they brought their own herald, who comes in, kind of opens a scroll. As you were all kind of waiting in the sitting room, Ryan, who's quiet, Demure, and Philippe are sitting there. They rise, and the little herald represents in this kind of small, raspy but overly articulate voice, presenting the Maharaja Ranjit and the benevolent Pratima Suvij and their son, the Maharaj Kumar Bedum Rampart Suvij. And you see them walk in, big people, Indian-style garb. Pratima has the kind of one-shoulder sari on, and it's, she's curvaceous and lovely. It's in garish, kind of a red and a pink, and jewelry, all the earrings on her ears. Rajit has a septum piercing, kind of a gold collar that he's wearing, and he comes in big, kind of barrel-chested. To our beloved hosts, we say we are truly welcome to be welcome in your home. I am the Maharaja Ranjit, my lovely wife Pratima, and your mom Philippe. Glides across the floor, does a kind of respectful bow to the Maharaja, and then to Pratima, offers a lovely compliment to her dress, warmly welcomes them into the home. Behind them comes a slightly shorter, chubby, like his clothes are too tight. He's got, kind of mismatched stuff all over his ears. I'll actually show you a picture of Rampart here. On his waist, he actually has a little crown on that's too small for his head. And then he also has this bag of what looks like marbles on his hip. You see a fan kind of floating behind him, just kind of flapping, this little kind of, fan blowing over him. And he walks in and he just kind of stands like, belly out, no posture to speak of, no real regal presence. And after Pratima and your mother kind of have a lovely exchange, Pratima smiles, and then out of the corner of her mouth, she's like, "Rampart, do you not have something to say to our guests?" And he goes, "Yes, Mummy. Hello, thank you for your kind welcome to our to your home." He looks at you. He's like, "Maclin, it is so good to see you again. Thank you for your lovely hospitality. I do hope that the food is waiting because I'm very hungry." And as soon as he says that, there's the butlers have placed kind of hors d'oeuvres out on a table, and his long trunk reaches into his pocket, and he throws a marble on the ground, and you just see this whoosh, mist appear and then suddenly disappear. Doesn't appear that anything's happening, but 3 or 4 seconds later, a plate of food has floated mysteriously over to him, and he just starts eating it. They go about this. Your father offers to give them a tour of the estate. They go look at the gardens, and you are kind of stuck walking behind the two couples next to Rampart, enduring this tour, which you could give. Tell me how Maclin would react to a family of this stature. Rampart has scarfed down his food, crumbs all over his face, down his shirt, and he's just kind of waddling next to you. And he goes, "So Maclin, I just got a fleet of horses, and they are all brown, but I told them that I wanted white horses. Surely you can understand just what a horror. I made them all. I told them to murder them all and get me the white ones that I asked for. And I am still waiting. Mommy, are my white horses coming?" And she completely ignores him, but he kind of looks over at you like, "Oh, parents, am I right?" "Mommy, Mommy, do you see that Maclin's parents get him the correct horses? Why am I always the one stuck with all of the ugly horses? You don't get me anything that I want." And he throws another marble to the ground, and you kind of see something disappear, and a few seconds later, some kind of glass of cucumber water or whatever floats over, and he just like chugs it down his gullet. Yes. I do not understand your question. Like, I'm the Maharaja Kumer of our nation. They must give me what I demand and request. What other is the purpose of being of the nobility? Are you telling me you... I am the heir to the throne. Oh, I see that you still have your little workshop. Is that correct? I know. After my after my last visit, I demanded that my mother build me three. So I do not ever use them. I do not care for the creation of all these things, but I at least have them, and they are state of the art. I get people to make all sorts of things for me, like this beautiful crown, and oh, you should see the mechanical horses that I get to ride in front of my chariots, and yes, it is quite impressive. I'm sure you must come visit sometime and see that. It is a very giant mechanical horse, much larger than the horses that I will get in the herd that is coming. But sure, you can bring your tiny white horse and come and see all that we have here. As you all kind of make your way through the tour, it continues on. And I mean, just the relentless, what do I have? It's better than yours, all of that kind of attitude as you get. And you eventually, before you all sit down to dinner, though, there's another ring at the door. And the butler ushers in a male elf, very stately and sophisticated. I'll show you a picture. And he is introduced to the family as Yelvin Davo. And your father, Ryan, warmly goes up to greet. He is the textbook warrior elf. I mean, Legolas, but older, if that kind of makes sense. He has, platinum hair, half of it pulled back. He is wearing kind of tastely armor that doesn't look out of place here. He has a very impressive sidearm on his hip. He's kind of wearing a traveling cloak, and he comes in, and as Ryan greets him, kind of his piercing light eyes, says, "I fear that I have interrupted. I believe this was the time that you requested my attendance." He has a voice that has this very masculine confidence, but is kind of soft-spoken, kind of that musical elf quality. Ryan says, no, you have come right on time. We are so glad, and we intend for you to join us for dinner. May I please introduce to you the great Maharaja Ranjit Suvij and his lovely wife Pratima and their son Rampart. He exchanges some kind of noble pleasantries. But if you would excuse me, the butler will show you to the table. I just need a moment. Maclin, son, please come here. I'd like to introduce you to Professor Yelvin Davo of Strixhaven University. Son, I know that we have not always understood your interest in mechanical things, but the professor here is specifically one of the premier experts in the realm of magical and scientifically advanced weaponry, and I've invited him here tonight to maybe share a little bit with you. I know this is of interest to you, but maybe you would be interested in having a conversation with a professional about this, and he could maybe talk to you about how this might influence your future, or at least help you advance this hobby. I'm very honored. I wonder, Mr. Grubar, if you would be willing to allow me to be escorted by your son to his workspace. Why don't we have a short discussion before dinner? I'd love to see what the extent of your skills is, and I would be happy to offer you some feedback as far as all is concerned. Your father is happy to agree if you're willing to show him to your workspace. Uh, Philippe has kind of like put herself halfway to the table, not wanting to leave their very esteemed guests, but not wanting to be rude. And she says, yes, thank you. I believe that would be appropriate. Please, quick visit, and then please join us that we might entertain all of our guests for an appropriate meal. As you escort Yelvin Dabo, his presence just has this aura of strength and proficiency, kind of glides over the earth. His eyes clearly see more than you could possibly imagine. You see just the sagely wisdom within his eyes. And as you get to the workshop, you come in. What do you do? As he looks around, what's the state of the room? So as you say that he's meticulous, is he tidy? Like, okay. Good. Okay. Good. Got it. Professor looks around. He's like, this is truly impressive. May I? And he holds out his hand to look at the pistol. He picks it up. He's like, this is quite advanced mechanics work. We are truly on the verge of an age of mechanical and scientific sophistication. There are professors and entire colleges that are dedicated to the advancement of this knowledge. You say that you taught yourself most of the skills related to here? I'm also going to introduce a character into the story. There is let's call him a mentor that your parents have hired a couple years ago to spend time with Maclin for a couple of reasons. You call him Dr. V, and he has taken you away from time to time to learn about history, culture, anthropology. You've known him as this Indiana Jones type. I mean, dusty leather, Indiana Jones style kind of cap, long kind of dusty brown hair, kind of wears a whip, not a whip, kind of a set of machetes with serrated edges on the side. So it's like he can fight, he can learn, but he's really been very patient and sagely with with Maclin to try and draw you out of your shell a little bit and introduce you to some things. He's offered his input from time to time about some of this artificery stuff. Probably some, if you've had any leaps in your knowledge, it would be because of Dr. V. Fair? Yelvin looks down. He's like, in Lorehold, which is the college at which I teach, one of the colleges of Strixhaven, it's not so much the construction of firearms that I spend my time on, but the exploration of the alien technologies that have been introduced to us. The mechanics of this truly are becoming more and more sophisticated as our society is evolving. It is the magic, and especially the ancient magics that we are able to infuse into these items that are truly revolutionizing what we have when it comes to power, firearms, and I say this with reluctant warfare. This is a beautiful piece, Maclin. I'm truly impressed that as you being self-taught, that you've been able to reach this level of sophistication. I encourage you to continue to advance your skills. He begins to list a couple of books and authors that he might recommend you read, most of which are about just the science, the physics and the mechanics of constructing time work pieces, tinkering pieces, all that stuff. One of them is starting to go into magic. And he does ask, he's like, so are all of your skills simply hard, or have you manifested or explored any magical augmentation to your artificery? If I may offer you one philosophical quip, magic is simply something science has yet to explain. You're already a magician. Look at this. Look at this. Do you know how few people are capable of designing something like this? Does it work? You see him prestidigitate a little, a skeet basically, and it floats above his hand, and he goes, and out of left-handed, he takes your pistol, hits it right through the skeet, hits the dummy right in the back. He's like, your calibration is off 0.3 millimeters, but by and large, you've created a weapon that is truly, truly remarkable. I think you may find as you explore the magic, and my friend, he gets real close to your eyes. He's like, you have the magic. It's to your credit to explore and allow it to expand. You will become a better scientist in the process. I assure you, if you do. And he turns around, he like whips the gun and turns it back into and kind of hands it to you very kind of ceremoniously and very expertly. And never kind of breaking eye contact with you. Between us, I was not given any more details than you about my presence here tonight. I was merely invited to dinner. So maybe our meeting was predestined or preordained by your parents, but it was not premeditated by me, I assure you. Make a performance check. Make a performance check and just see what this process looks like, especially without the correct equipment. 10. You know what? It makes it in your pocket. You don't blow your own pants off. It's not how you carry a gun, but it's bulging there in your pocket and not falling out. We'll put it right there. Right as you both go to leave the workshop, the door opens, and standing there is Dr. V. And I'll show you a picture. He is, kind of a rugged hunk, kind of soft-spoken, but, weathered skin, scruffy. And he comes in and he's like, Maclin, good to see you. And Professor, well, isn't this a pleasant surprise? And Professor Davo looks at him and kind of gives a very respectful nod, which you've found he's done twice now. And elves are not really in the habit of kind of bowing to others, but he's met royalty and he's met this individual, which is a breach of standard elvish protocol unless there is some truly societal reason for this individual to be as prominent, to be worth that. He says, I hope you don't mind my interruption, but Maclin, I just spoke to your mother. I have an opportunity and I need you to trust me. Come with me. We are going to go on an adventure because I need your help to find something. And I finally figured out where it was and I want you to come with me. Will you do that? I have arranged for your excuse, but you gotta come now. It's now or never. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Come on, we'll make this happen. As you leave and kind of head back to the house, Professor Davo's behind you. He seems very nonplussed by all that's just happening. And as you enter the house and begin to leave out the front door, you get out kind of to the front of the house. Behind you, you hear this whiny protesting. Mommy, what are you doing? Why are you leaving me like this? I don't want to go. I don't want to do it. And you said, and you hear, you turn around. Pratima is there and has literally got Rampart by the ear. She says, "You are a little spoiled boy, and now is the time for you to grow up. So, Dr. V, I demand that you take. I insist. I humbly request that you take my son wherever you are going. I see." Philippe has spoken nothing but wonderful things about what you have done to groom Maclin. My son needs to grow up as well. She looks around, gives him a kiss on the cheek, and pushes him kind of to follow you. And he is just like, Mommy, absolutely not. I won't do it. And she says, you will do it, and you will stop complaining right now. And she turns around and goes back in the house, slams the door. She slams the door, not a servant. And Rampart is sitting there just like on the verge of like a tantrum. And Dr. V looks at you and he's like, well, I guess we got us some company. Mr. Rampart, Your Highness, I think that you will appreciate what we have. But it will require you, son, to pull yourself together. This is not for the faint of heart. Can you do that for me? And he looks up and just this kind of gentle but very firm, kind of like step by step. He's like, well, I'm not walking, whatever you say. And he's like, we ain't walking, son. You see him begin to cast a magical spell, which creates this ring of runes around the three of you. It's this golden filigree that just gets more and more complex around you. You have not seen the extent of this kind of magic from him before. This is amazing. And as soon as he finishes, he's like, all right, boys, hold your breath. And one by one, you all disappear. And you are teleported into a dusty, kind of a desert-like place. There's these kind of rusty brown rocks on this almost near mountain kind of in front of you, with this kind of slit opening into what appears to be some kind of dungeon or like temple ruin, something like that. Rampart immediately sinks to his knees and he's like, how dare you take me like this? This is so undignified. My father will hear about your insolence. And he throws down another one of the things and realizes at that point, like, there's nothing to get or retrieve, so it's essentially wasted. And he just sits there kind of like waiting to be consoled. What do you do? Make a persuasion check with advantage, because he is definitely double timed right now and nobody's coming to help him. 14. He kind of like he doesn't respond. He's just so horrified that this is even happening, and now that he's kind of been rebuked twice, he is offended, but he's also realizing, like, okay, I'm gonna have to regroup here. He stands up and he dusts himself off, and he just kind of waits there, like, you know, belly out, arms slack at his sides, and just kind of waits to see what happens. Dr. V looks at you and he says, all right, Maclin, I know we've been talking about a lot of this stuff in theory, but inside here is history. This is real history. And I don't know what we're about to come up against, but young man, this could change our lives. There are a couple of items in here that we need to go and retrieve, but I have to tell you, if my information is correct, this place is about to come down, and this might be our only ever chance for anybody to recover these relics. So I need you to go in. I need you to keep your wits about you. I need you to look around, find what you need to, and if we get into any kind of scrape, I want you to know I have your back. I hope you have mine. Damn, Lynn. Oh. Yeah, right. Great. So what I'd like you to do is go into D&D Beyond and open the map feature. Yep. Now you should just see a page, but kind of has an almond shape map on it. You should see. Yep, so there's Maclin. As you enter, yeah, you're going to have to zoom in real far, that's okay. But the rest of it you should see covered, right? You see the rest of it kind of blacked out? Like you only see a sliver of the map? Did I do that right? Yep. Okay, great. Yep. So what I would like to do for the recording, can you share your screen on Discord so that I can see the D&D Beyond from your perspective? There we go. Yeah, excellent. Now, if you click off of this on your computer, it's going to blank out the page here. So if you can use your phone to move your token, and that way we can see this on the screen. Does that make sense? It's a weird thing, but I can manipulate it from my side as well. Now, you can move your own tokens around with this feature. Yeah. So go to your menu. Go to your menu and go down to View Character on Website. And then next to the... Okay, so it should be the little red tic-tac-toe board. Okay. Yeah, go to your character sheet. And then go to your menu. Sorry, I thought you were already in there. So on your character sheet, it's, yep, View Character. Really? Is this the menu that you got when you clicked? Like, get to this menu here. Yeah, okay. See if that clicks you through. Does it take you to this page? I don't know if you can see that. It's basically a white version of, it just looks like a different version of your character page. Yeah, that's good. So under, do you see a bar that says Campaign Strixhaven? Right under Initiative and Speed? Okay. Yep, hit the play button. Great. Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, you can. And I can drag him too. All right. So you both come in. Rampart is in protest behind you, and you walk in. You see a what probably was a pool that once had water in it, and then you see two tunnels, but they're both collapsed, going east and west. It is very, very dark in here, and unless you have dark vision, none of you, as far as you know, can see in here. Nope, it's just a shallow pool. It's got a little lip all the way around it. Okay. So are you going to attempt to create any light source? Yeah. Bright light 5 feet, dim light another 5 feet. Yep. I'll make you an offer. If you want, I'll let you cast this on the scope of your gun and treat it like a little flashlight. Okay. Rampart, as soon as you do that and create that, Dr. V is like, well done, Maclin. That was very innovative. And Rampart says, where's mine? I want one too. Dr. V doesn't really acknowledge it, leans over, lights a torch of his own. Rampart was addressing you, not so much Dr. V. And Dr. V starts exploring the other direction. What would you like to do? Make a just general perception check, which is going to be limited to the amount of light that you're able to create. So as you go further, I will clear more of the map. Between your two light sources, this is as much as you're able to light up. What you can tell is that Dr. V was not kidding. This place is in shambles. Walls are at impossible angles, pillars that have fallen into each other that are basically holding each other aloft. There's a cave-in to the left to the area that you're heading towards. There's a pillar right in front of you. There's 4 pillars kind of surrounding this pool area. None of them have a top half to them holding up the ceiling. This place is very, very fragile. Yeah. The one that you can see up to the top is a cave-in. Dr. V's kind of down this end. Rampart's kind of right behind you. And he's like, Rampart, give me something. Give me some light. Come on, you. Okay. I'm sure. Keep looking. Rampart, at this point, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. Rampart casts, something changes in like the tone of his voice. It gets deeper and darker and is filled kind of with this magical effect. He says, Maclin, give me the light. You hear this and something in your brain is like, give him the light. And then there's this little voice in the back that's like, fuck you. Like, no. And that voice actually kind of catches this like instinctive handover you were about to do. He tried to command you to do something, but you beat his spell save DC. Then give me some light. Sorry, my accent is all over the place. Why are you and the professor the only ones that get to have the light? You bring me here without any supplies. You bring me here without any weapons or any way to defend myself. And here I am just walking around in the dark. What do you want? It's like you want me to die. I have no idea what accent I'm in right now. Okay, that kind of sets him up for... Okay. So as you work your way to kind of the backside here, your light starts to shine a little bit more down this hallway. Does seem to be an opening down here on this way. And I'll tell you that Dr. V's kind of come to the same conclusion that if you're going to go somewhere, it's probably going to be down this way. All right. As you take a few steps further, you start to see even more ruins. You also see a little tunnel that goes here to the right, and the rest of the way seems to go deeper into the tunnel. Where would you like to go? Maclin, when you're searching for something, you just leave no stone unturned. The best thing that you keep is your wits about you. Do you think we should go check that out? Rampart comes here. He's like, absolutely not. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why would we go down that? It is small and it is tiny. I'm not going. Mommy's going to hear about this. You're such a bully. As you go down into this space, it kind of comes into this room here. It is littered with what appears to be kind of old religious kind of themed items. So, from like ancient cultures, like bowls. There's painting on the walls. There is some kind of Sanskrit style writing. There looks to be some kind of altar that was kind of collapsed into the middle. Make a history check. Why not? I will tell you this completely then. This could have been some kind of religious area, but you're starting to piece together this could have been an embalming room. You see a door to the back side, which in our case is the right side of this room. Great. Okay. As soon as you push open the door, I need you to roll initiative. You see a crypt, and coming from the back of the room is a mummy that is heading directly for you. Is 8. Let's see. All right. The mummy then is going to head your way. Stumble. While he can't move fast, he does come after you. He is going to... Sorry, I have not read. Yep. He's going to take a swipe at you because you're close. The first is a 16 to hit. As this rotting fist, you kind of get slapped with all of the ribbons. You take 11 points of bludgeoning damage plus 4 points of necrotic damage as you feel this. You feel the hit, and then you feel this sense of almost poison. It's not poison, but almost poison, kind of stick to your neck. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. .12 is what you needed. So you are not cursed. You are able to kind of get it off your neck. You are face to face with the mummy. It is now your turn. What would you like to do? Correct. Correct. Yep. Okay. Eight does not hit. Kind of gets lodged into his ribs. Doesn't really catch any purchase there. As soon as you say that, Rampart is behind you, and he is mumbling in some kind of Indian-sounding language, blah, 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 and he casts Fireball inside the room, and this massive explosion hits all four walls and the ceiling. The mummy is gone and incinerated in an instant. And the room is on fire. What it unfortunately did was unsettle the very fragile foundation of what is holding this whole place together. And Rampart goes running back down the hallway back to Dr. V. You start to hear like the building is starting to lose its integrity. We're not in initiative, but what would you like to do? I think you're right, son. I think we need to go. No matter how fast you go, you can always keep your eyes open. You keep one hand on your weapon. You keep one hand on your wits. All right? This is your adventure. Let's go. Where are we going? You shine your light down. You start crawling over what this appears to have been like a bunch of benches, almost like people that were participating kind of in a church service type deal. And given what you've just seen, maybe a funeral of some kind. As you make your way down, you see these dilapidated pillars. You hear all sorts of evidence that this place is starting to crack. You're seeing dust come down from the ceiling and start to litter the hallways. You get to the end and you see what appears to be some kind of altar here at the end. And then you see a hallway going this way, and you see a hallway going this way. You can. Well, I'll just tell you, there's nothing of value there. It is not no. Mm-mm. Okay. As you begin to head up, you see this little conclave, and I'm going to need you to, we're going to get back into, actually I'm going to let you roll initiative again, see if you roll higher this time. A mummy comes crawling out, and you hear Dr. V's voice behind you says, "Look alive, son. It's coming after you." You notice it well before it hits you, gets close to you this time. Dr. V's right behind you. Rampart's kind of behind him. Okay, good job. What's his name? Okay, you get to go first. Okay, make an attack. Oh, yeah, absolutely hits. $11 points of damage. Very good. Anything else that you'd like to do? Okay. Any bonus actions you would like to do? Or any other features you would like? That was a very gracious hint. Great. Love it. Okay. Okay. It goes after you. Or, I mean, it's a tool you use, so I think you have to use a bonus action to direct it, or maybe it's even a free action. We're going to use this because I have nothing better. Okay, you're going to put that between you two? Okay. And tell me again what so creating it, can you use it the turn you create it? Okay, here we go. Eldritch. So it takes an action to create it. So yeah, so you can create it next turn, and then it's a bonus action at that from then on to use it to attack. Okay? All right. So you can create it next turn. I shouldn't have deleted that. Whoops. Oh well. All right. Next is Rampart. He's going to come over here, seeing you as someone who's enjoying or willing to act. he's going to cast Aura of Vitality. Around him you see this, do you know what holy is in India? It's the colored powder that they throw around for that big celebration. You see this as like a saffron colored powder that kind of erupts magically around him. Some of it falls on you, and he is going to let you regain 2d6 hit points. 2d6, there we go. Yeah, I can speak. 2d6 hit points. He's like, kill it, Maclin. Okay. The mummy is going to come, and you fired at it. So he's going to come, and actually where he is, he's going to do this first. He's got a feature called a Dreadful Glare, and I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. The energy that comes off of this creature hits you, and where you have been doing such a good job of steeling yourself against the overwhelming nature of the fear of this moment, all of your resolve is lost, and panic takes over your body, and where everything in your being wants to run because you failed it by more than 5, you are paralyzed for until you succeed on a wisdom saving throw. It is then going to make a kind of move towards you, this clunky move towards you, and take a swipe at you. 14, does a 14 hit? It is not. As paralyzed, I guess you're paralyzed, you would get advantage. Oh, natural 20. I am going to say that Dr. V is going to cast Silvery Barbs on that. And he's going to use his reaction to basically pull the arm and force him to re-roll. So he is going to, he's then going to roll a 17. Does a 17 hit? Now, do you have a shield spell, out of curiosity? Again, I'm giving you this because we're both learning how your character works. So a shield spell is going to increase your AC by 5. Yep. Does it require somatic components? Does it say VSM? Does it say S? Shield? That's shield of... What? Or... If you are hit by an attack or are targeted by the magic missile spell. It does have somatic components, so you're not going to be able to cast it while you're paralyzed. But it still is going to hit you with a 17, but not a natural 20. So it's 6 points of bludgeoning damage plus 7 points of necrotic damage. And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. 15 beats it, so you are not cursed. Dr. V's turn is next. As he has already moved, he had to pause momentarily to cast that spell and stop you from getting that lethal hit. He pulls out kind of in back sheaths 2 machetes. Again, they each have kind of a serrated side on it. Does a kind of an X slash, and I mean he does it with precision. He is able. You see them glow slightly. And even catch a little bit of fire, which you see normally this thing's pretty hardy, but this fire just decimates this creature top to bottom, eliminating him in one fell swoop. He looks at you. Rampart is going to kind of let a cloud burst out again and let you regain 2d6 hit points. Dr. V looks at you and he's like, "You okay, son? You did great. Those things are..." You are still very, very shaken. He's like, "This isn't a time to lose your cool. I know that you didn't have much of a choice, but you have one now. Are we moving forward?" The wall on this opposite side all of a sudden, falls, complete cave-in, which is starting to set off a series of, you start to see the cracks start to appear in the ceiling of this room. And Dr. V looks at you, he's like, "Come on, it's now or never. What are you going to do?" As you go into this space, you start to see a pile of skeleton bones. And as you press in a little bit further, I'm going to have you roll initiative one more time as you see a mummy climb out of a pile of skeleton bones and look at you. Yep. Okay. Dr. V is creeping up behind you, and he is going to cast, let's see, what is it called? He is going to cast Shield of Faith on you. And what that looks like when he does it is you are going to get covered in red, like burgundy red and kind of sandy yellow dragon scales. And it's going to add +2 to your AC for the next 10 minutes. And he's just standing right behind you, and he's like, "Come on, son. Strong and true. I believe in you." And it is your turn. Okay, you create it. Okay. Okay, so make your attack. So it needs to make a dexterity save? So 23 definitely hits. Okay. Okay. Ooh, nice. Okay. He goes flying back into the pile of skeleton bones. Would you like to move? So it's walking, okay? Okay. It looks like a real dog, or it looks like a machine in the shape of a dog? Okay. So like the huge circular mouth, but kind of has the black body with the... Okay. Sounds good. All right. It is Rampart's turn. He's going to give you another poof of healing, 2d6 healing. And then he is going to cast Wall of Sand up against it, and is basically going to summon... You hear all of this dirt that's been this dust that's been falling on the floor, and he's going to kind of gather it and like throw it into the room, trying to wedge him into that space. And he's like, "We've got to get out of here. You get whatever you need right now, and we must leave immediately. This place is going to give in." Which is no longer an Indian accent. I don't know where I lost it. Sorry. So it is Dr. V's turn. He is going to run by you, and he says, "Maclin, come in. We've got to. If it's here, we got to get it and get it out now." And he begins to look around the room, kind of keeping an eye to see if this mummy is going to come out or not. What would you like to do for your turn? Okay. As soon as you get into the room, you spot a treasure chest here in the bottom right corner of the room. It is disintegrating, but it is an enclosed item. Great. In there, you see a golden mask and 2 rings, a gold one and a like rough-hewn pewter, kind of dark, like a brushed nickel but dirty one as well. Great. No problem. You have a bonus action if you want to use it. Okay. You see this head pop out of the sand and kind of doing the unhinged jaw. Go ahead and make your attack. I'll let you make it with advantage because it is considered restrained in here. That hits. Yep. So you not only like split its head in half, but you throw it back into the wall of sand. It's Rampart's turn. He's like, "I don't care what you are doing, but I am leaving. And if you want to come with me, you must come now. But I don't care what you do anymore. I'm gone." And he takes off. And you hear this place beginning to crumble. You hear another cave-in in the background. The mummy is going to try and resist. He is not able to get out. You look at Dr. V. If you want to run, we'll drop you out of initiative. You can run out of this place. Great. You turn around, hightail it. I need you to make either an athletics or an acrobatics check as this place begins to cave in around you. Rampart is trying to book it. He's not as fast as you are. Either of you are. We'll see how he does. Oh, not too shabby. Very good. Ooh, all right. You are going to get hit by a falling rock and take 7 points of bludgeoning damage. But you are able to keep moving forward. You see Dr. V, who could probably run faster than you, stay right by you this whole time. And even though it hits you, he kind of grabs you under your arm. He's like, come on, man. Come on. You can do this. We got to get out. This is the home stretch. Push. And make one more acrobatics check. 17. You are able to, as soon as you step out, the place caves in behind you. And you can stop sharing your screen for now. The three of you make it outside. Rampart is basically sobbing at this point. He's taking marbles and just throwing them down. You see kind of the fan come off of his belt and just start kind of in the middle of the air, just on its own accord or whatever's controlling it, just fanning him. Where he could grab the water bottle on his hip, something else does, and is squirting water in his mouth as he says, like I mean, I am the heir to the throne. I have to be able to do this. But that was horrible. I can't believe my mother made me go here. I can't believe that you made me go in there. And just kind of like is kind of hyperventilating, like not sure how to take your compliment, not being a complete dick, but also is just like flooded emotionally. But he does kind of take whatever you're patting as like a help up. And so he kind of like grabs you with his trunk and like helps him up to a standing position. Dr. V looks at you and you see a look in his eyes that is proud of you in a way that is so much more invested than just someone who's like helping you grow up a little bit. You see on his face a look of pride, a look of like almost a little misty-eyed, which seems out of character for this very masculine John Wayne style kind of presence that he has. He's like, you did fantastic in there, Maclin. Did really, really well. I'm so proud of you. How'd that feel? He takes the mask and the rings in his hands and he says, "These are very precious items. Tell a lot of story. But you know, sometimes treasure is a lot more than what you find along the way, wouldn't you say? As soon as he looks at you, letting you ponder that philosophical statement, you see a flash of lightning come from the sky, and right next to you materializes this figure. He's a bald, kind of African-American man with dark purple skin. He has a star kind of almost tattooed over his eye, kind of sleeveless vests, kind of a sleeveless garb, muscular, but with all sorts of gold, kind of celestial designs all over his arms and legs, and he goes. He kind of ignores you, and I will say, as he draws attention to all of this, you see Dr. V turn his attention, begin to put the items kind of in his own stuff. You see a slip of paper fall out of Dr. V's coat, fall to the ground at his feet. Velamachus, I had to come immediately and tell you what I have foreseen. It is far worse than we thought possible. You see this like he's out of breath. He is very upset about whatever he's saying. Dr. V kind of looks at him. He's like, Vicor, calm down. Calm down. Tell me what you've seen. And you overhear this explanation. He says, Velamachus, the stars, they're wrong. The omens they're wrong. They're not foretelling what they're supposed to. They're not in the right places. They're not saying the right things. I don't know how to explain it, but all divination seems to be off its rocker, and I don't know how to explain it, but it's unclear. And Dr. V looks at him and says, "What on earth are you talking about? Like the stars, the omens, they can't be off. That literally has never happened. In the course of history, that's never happened. Are you okay? You sure?" Vicor looks, the man called Vicor looks at him. It's like, I have looked deeply into the future, and I'm telling you, something is wrong. The omens keep pointing not forward, but keep pointing backwards. They say something, it's tracing back to Calnan Singorns, and something that was supposed to happen to him didn't happen to him, or something that wasn't supposed to happen did. I can't get clarity on what happened to him. The name, if you want it to write it down, Calnan, Calnan, Singors, SingGGORES. You might have to go and find his archaic and try to figure out what is going on, but this is bigger than us, Velamachus. I think it's time for you to come and intervene. And Dr. V looks at him. He says, all right, I trust you. He looks over his shoulder at you and Rampart. Rampart's jaws kind of dropped. He says, I need you to take the young prince back to his home. His family is currently at the home of Ryan and Philippe Grubar. I have to talk to Maclin here. I will follow up with you when I know more. Thank you. Vicor looks, nods, kind of like an obedient general, and looks at Rampart. Doesn't really even introduce himself, but just walks over, and as soon as he touches him, there's kind of reverse lightning teleportation. The two of them just disappear. And you're looking at the back of Dr. V, who's trying to take in some of whatever information he just heard. And he's gone quiet and reflective. You've never known his first name. You've only ever known him as Dr. V. He turns around and looks at you, kind of gives this kind of cowboy smile as he looks at you. He says, Maclin, I didn't want this to happen this soon, because I think you are on the cusp of becoming the great version of you that I have hoped for ever since I met you. But you and I do need to talk, because there's more to this story than you or even your parents have ever known. Maclin, it's never been an accident that I've come into your life. I've been watching you from a distance since the day you were born. Truth is that, well, I guess I should tell you first that I'm not just some old doctor who likes doing some temple robbing. I'm actually a dragon. I know. I live among people, exploring, doing what I think this form is a lot easier for people to undertake. My name is Velamachus Lorehold. And my siblings and I were born 3,000 years ago. And the five of us have created Strixhaven University, the premier college of magic in the known multiverse. Each of us have taken it upon ourselves to explore a different side of magical learning. And the ones that I have is the past and the future. I love understanding where people came from, races and histories and religions and peoples, the things that they hide, the things that they learn, the things that they explore, the stories they tell us, but also the stories of what is to come, looking at the stars, watching the omens. My college is a clash and a balance of order and chaos, which seem to feed into one another. Is chaos actually a disruption of order, or is chaos actually just the next cycle of the thing that is supposed to come? And the truth is, Maclin, you are the next thing that was supposed to come. Because the next thing you need to know is that you are my descendant. The blood of the Lorehold line flows down to you. The bloodline hasn't manifested magic aptitude for generations until you. Your magic is no accident. You're one of us. You're not... I see how you got there. You're not a dragon, but you definitely have the powers. You have the potential to be great. And I need you. I need you to be brave, because I need your help. The five of us founder dragons have very little contact with Strixhaven. It's designed that way on purpose. And the deans and professors of the colleges are forbidden to intervene into normal everyday affairs. It's the only way we maintain balance as we explore all different types of magic. The person you just met was Professor Vicor Deepwell. He's a professor at my college, and he is one of the foremost authorities on divination magic. He's looking regularly into the future, and I'm sure you heard what he just said. Something's terribly wrong. I need you to go and figure out what you can about what's going on, because this isn't the first time something that wasn't supposed to happen has happened. I have some concerns. I want you to memorize the name Callan Singhorns, and I want you to find out what happened to him. You can... Good. Get stronger. Get smarter. I would challenge you to be shrewd as you go. Some omens that I myself have looked into have told me. And he kind of gets almost a little choked up at this point. The omens keep telling me one of my siblings has betrayed us all. I don't know who. I don't know how. Where we used to be the family, we have gone our separate ways, and over the centuries, sure, there's been conflict, but never something so dire that one of us would turn on our own. You have to be real careful. I want you to remember, you can't do this alone. You need to find some allies. You need to find some friends. It's going to be up to you to pull them together, to lead them. Find people you can trust. Find the answers. Because if you don't, I'm afraid that something bad's going to happen. I think it's going to affect us all. Maclin, I need someone. Maclin, you're honest. You're simple. And you're about to enter a world that is complicated. You have people that are in it for themselves, that are looking out for their own backsides. Don't lose that. Stay true to who you are. Don't let the waves around you get swept up. You keep pressing forward just like you ran out of that cave just now. You keep pressing forward, no matter if you get hit or not. You become who you are. I believe in you. You have the makings of greatness. Go find it. Good man. Good man. I'm not going to leave you empty-handed. I have a couple of things that I'm going to send you with. And he reaches his hand out, and his hand, just his hand, transforms into this dragon claw. And a claw, he touches you right on the forehead, and then traces it down the side of your face, kind of curls it under your, kind of the nape of your neck, and this silvery tattoo shows up on your face. He says, this is some protection. If something has changed, or someone's trying to change something, this is going to protect your mind so that your mind stays clear and present and focused on what is true. I'll tell you also, in the middle of Strixhaven is a magical anomaly called a snarl. It's one of the only known ones in existence, and it's this tangle in the weave of magic that amplifies and expands magic when it's cast close to it. If you can get real close to it, this tattoo, this gift I've just given you, will grant you one use of a wish spell. One and only one. If you need it, in a moment of dire need, you get close to that snarl and you cast it, and you change things as you need to change them. Use it wisely. I've made a Dr. V looks at you. He says, the other thing that I'm going to give you is, you caught this treasure, why don't you take a piece of it? And he pulls out the 3 items, and I'm going to let you pick one of these as a starting item for the campaign. I will text them to you so that you can research them a little bit. You have 2 potential rings and this kind of golden mask. Once you tell me what you want, I'll build it in D&D Beyond, and it can get added to your inventory, and you'll have it for the start of the campaign. And Dr. V, so I'll let you look at this. Once you make we'll say you make your selection. Dr. V says, when the time comes, Strixhaven will call you, and best of luck. You're going to do great. And that's where we'll end this one shot. Sound good? Okay. So we'll pick up basically your, when we start the campaign, we'll start at the your arrival to Strixhaven. Now, one thing I will say in retrospect, there was a piece of paper on the ground that I didn't really give you a chance to respond to. Kind of rolled over and was right by your foot. Okay. Do you read it later? Okay. Then I will tell you this is... Okay. So this is the note that you find on it. It says, Dr. V, I trust you received my previous communications regarding my candidacy. I look forward to you and your associates' prompt decision and following invitation. Regards, it's signed Caraway Savarax. C-A-R-A-W-A-Y, Savarax. S-A-V-A-R-A-X. I'll read it to you one more time. Dr. V, I trust you received my previous communications regarding my candidacy. I look forward to you and your associates' prompt decision and following invitation. Regards, Caraway Savarax. All right? All right, look over these items. I'll text them to you. Tell me which ones you want. And then when we get ready, we'll start at Strixhaven. All right, man. Good work. That was fun. Thanks, man. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Yep. You'll have to probably ask some questions. I do not have that scheduled out. Each of you are getting a little bit of information, and you'll have to decide what to do with it. Okay? All right, man. Well, have a good night. Right back.